I get it. All right. Hello, everyone. We are so glad you're here. Thank you for joining us tonight. Um, we have some copies of the PowerPoint slides and they're on their way in. So if you want a physical copy of these, you can grab those from Ms. Ritchie, or my leadership team students can stand up and pass them out because you're great. So we'll go through this today. We're also taking a video, and we'll also email out a digital copy to this as well. My name is Ms. Boxberger. I'm one of the band directors here. Just to get us started, so we kind of know who else here. Can you stand up if you're a returning member of the marching band, have marched at least one season with us? Ooh, yeah. Now I'm gonna have you stand up if you are a new member of our marching band here, who are marching for the first time with us. Awesome. We are so excited to have you guys here. Marching band has a ton of moving components, so that's why we thought it was important today to discuss some of these things with you. All right, so a little bit of our training of thought today. We're doing introductions. We'll talk about the registration form. We'll talk about instrument usage and equipment usage, excuse me. Supplies and attire, summer calendar and band camp needs, communication attendance policies, performance calendar, student eligibility, and then parent support and how we can help you guys get involved. Also, who are running around, we've got Mr. Morris up here helping run this, and then we'll kind of tag team this meeting. We have Ms. Ritchie handing out papers in the middle. She is our performing arts secretary and our flag line coach. And then we have Ms. Baskerville in the back in the Blue Jay shirt handing out things. She is our assistant color guard coach. Color guard coach. All right, first things first, and you see this QR code in the papers you got on the way in. It's also up here. There's also the web link if you need to. Each member, and this is good to do with your family because it has parent communication or pieces as well, will need to fill out this form to register for marching band. So this form does a couple of things for us. One, it gets us your up-to-date contact information for the summer. So students, when it says student email, if you don't check your school email during the summer, don't put your school email down, okay? A lot of you have personal emails or other ways of communication. So this is collecting your contact information for both our parents and our students for the summer so that we can communicate before school comes back in August. This also registers you and allows you to have a written spot in the drill. We cut off numbers for our drill writer on July 1, which is when this form is due. And that's when we'll send him the final numbers to finalize our drill. He's already started working on that now. It's about a 2-month process to create the drill. And we want to make sure that if you are registered and you are invested and you are here, that you have a spot. And then this also helps us update our Skyward rosters. To do marching band, you have to be enrolled in the marching band class. It has to be a class on your schedule. We work with the counselors over the next 2 weeks to finalize and prep and get all of that in your schedule before the school year switches over in July. So you can access it here. It's also on your handout and it's also in the slides pack. So there's lots of different ways that you can access that form. It has parent information as well, ask for parent contact information. Because we don't get access to a class roster until August, when we've already done with all of our summer camps, we have to make our own class roster and communication list. So please make sure you're filling that out tonight. You can do that while we're talking here. Do you want to talk about Julie? You want me to do these ones and then you do one? Okay, perfect. Instrument and equipment usage. So we are updating this form. This is one of our forms that you will have to fill out. One of the things we want to make sure every student and family will have to sign this form. These forms at Parade Camp, we have a list of them. This is going to cover usage of all of our school music-related equipment, such as flags and poles, props, instruments, chair stands, anything a student might use, tuners, all of that stuff covered under this agreement. We'll also go over and have available at parade camp our instrument and equipment handbook that goes over the USD 475 policies for all this equipment. We have to be good stewards of the things that were provided by the district. It goes over how do we cover damages to equipment, who's responsible for the cost if something breaks, and all of those types of things. Outlines procedures for replacement, damage, and misuse of materials. Due to a lot of budget constraints going into the next school year, this is going to be something that we monitor a little more closely than we have in the past. So all of the parties agreeing to using the equipment properly and maintaining the equipment is going to be a huge pillar moving forward. Okay, we're going to go over the required supplies for every section. At the end of this meeting, we're going to break out into flat or color guard, percussion, and winds, woodwind and brass, to go over your required specific list. But this is required for every student, no matter what section you're in. So you need to have a large water jug that is over 32 ounces and that is labeled with your name on it. When we go out, especially for morning rehearsals, we don't have access to water refilling stations out there. And especially at band camp, we can't be, where the doors are locked, so to let a student in to get water takes time away from rehearsal. So each student will need to be able to provide their own water jug. And I don't have a big one here.
It definitely is not this.
But it's not that. That's what she says.
So many of them do this and then they want to go in. No.
So making sure they have that. You'll need sunglasses or a ball cap. You will be outside in the heat a lot of times. You need protection for your face. Okay? Sunscreen is always a must, especially on the turf when we have morning rehearsals on the turf. If it's hot outside, the turf is usually 15 to 20 degrees warmer than the temperature. Okay? So sunscreen, especially on the legs to avoid heat rash, is important. Black athletic shorts, and Ms. Ritchie has a sample here. This is part of our secondary uniform. We wear this for all of our performances. Underneath our uniform, they have to be the stretchy material. They can't be jeans. They're like seams in jeans. Will rub our uniforms raw and create tearing. They also need to be plain with no logos, no additional colors, solid black. We will run in August usually. We have a band merchandise store where you can buy like band t-shirts and all that kind of stuff. They do sell shorts like this in that store, which you can purchase. And we know that those shorts come with the band logo on them. That would be the only color or only logo allowed on those shorts. Okay. Tennis shoes. For every rehearsal and everything we do, you have to be in closed-toed, tieable tennis shoes. We cannot allow, for safety reasons, students on the turf or marching around the track or in the parking lot with slides, with Crocs, with flip-flops, any of that. Your student will be asked to sit out of rehearsal, and if that happens multiple times, we're going to have to schedule a meeting to discuss proper attire. So marching band is a physical activity, and we need to dress appropriately for those classes and rehearsals. Long black socks. Ms. Ritchie also has some of these. They need to be at least calf height. Your marching band uniform purposely is shorter so that it produces a straight line when we march. So you have to have your ankles covered with those long black socks. And then marching shoes. So these are, we will size you and fit you during summer camps and order them for you. They are $35. If you keep yours from previous years, you don't have to reorder ones. If your shoe size has changed and need to get another pair, we can handle that as well.
Well, if you lost them and I threw them in the box of all the people that lost them, you have to get new ones.
And it'll be really important that as you're getting your supplies, that everything is labeled with your name. Something that we know about high school students, they're notorious about losing their things. How many times they come back to the band room to search for AirPods or their headphones or their computer that they sat down and forgot about, right? So it's really, really important that your names are on all of your things so that we can return them to you if they're found, okay? You want me to talk about this?
Either way.
I got it. What's next? Here, you talk about this. I'm talking today. I'll get the next one.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mr. Lawrence, and so glad to be here with you tonight. And thank you for coming and the weather cooperating. By the way, our theme for our show this year is stormy weather. I love following all the storm chasers. For me, that's like just something that's enjoyable, just to watch the weather. When I was in 8th grade, my science fair project was comparing the forecasts of all the different news organizations in my town, because I wanted to see which was the most accurate. I've long been fascinated by weather, and that's going to be the theme of our show this year, which we're really excited about. So we're going to start our summer, though, by focusing on music that we will play for parades and the pregame sequence that we do for every home football game. So sometimes students are like, oh, well, I'm going to be gone on the 4th of July, but so does that mean I don't have to come to camp? No, if you're here, still come to camp. Still come to the parade camp, because we're going to be learning fundamentals that are foundational for everything that we do, to help you march better, to help you play better, and we will be learning music that we play throughout the entire marching band season during parade camp. But we do hope that you can come to the parade, and whenever you're in town, we expect that you're going to be at our summer events. If you've got a trip to Alaska planned and it's the same time, great, go on your trip. But if you're here, be here. Okay? Then, so that rehearsal schedule, we'll practice from 8:30 to 11:30 in the morning, which is the same time that you'll show up for the parade that on the 4th of July. Let me make sure I didn't forget something. Okay, Saturday, the 28th, we're gonna have Leadership Day, and we'll have our instrument checkout day on the Saturday before we begin our rehearsals. And then we have our regular band camp. That's the last week of July, going through to the to August 1st. And that's where we're gonna start working on our marching competition show, the show that we played at halftime of the football games. And we will focus on marching fundamentals, learning how to read drill coordinate sheets, which is a new skill, or a skill that even our returnees need to keep freshening up on because they haven't done it for a long time. And then we'll also work on music fundamentals and start learning the music for our competition show, as well as learning some of the fun songs that we play in the stands and when the pet band travels to various events. So the schedule for band camp is, let's see, what is it, 7, I want to make sure I tell you right, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. each of those days during band camp. And we have tons of fun. We get better at our instruments and our choreography. We play games, we eat together. By the way, parents, you're going to learn more in just a few minutes if you want to help. If you want to volunteer with the food side of things or other things related to camp, they're going to talk about that in a minute. But we have a really great time making memories together at band camp and getting better at what we're striving to create together for the performances that come later in August, September, October.
One more note about that full camp is a requirement. Like, to be able to be placed on the field, since we're going to start drill and do all those types of things that event, it is really important that you're there that week, pending an unavoidable conflict. Okay. The other thing I wanted to mention too is that we bring in staff that week. We bring in at least 10 others, additional staff members from the community, from K-State, from the First ID band that will come in and work with our students that week. So it's important that they're there to get a really great start to the semester. Students who typically aren't at that camp will feel about 2 or 3 weeks behind when we start school. So it's really important that you're there and getting that material. Oh, Yeah, you're right, Mr. Chief. The other thing that is important to note for full camp is that on Saturday, July 26th, we have a rookie day. And this is for all of our first year marchers, regardless of your grade level. If you have not marched at JCHS before, we expect you to attend, and our leadership team, and we'll be kind of going through the basics, getting you acclimated to the building. One of the great things I think about this setup is that you're already going to have 115 friends before school starts. You're going to meet a lot of people. You're going to learn a lot about the building. You're going to know where you need to be and when you need to be. And this culture, these students and this student leadership are really helpful in building that culture for you, so that it's not as much of a shell shock when you come into the high school for the first time. Communication and attendance. So we will communicate primarily to you through email, and then through the summer, we'll use the remind codes. So those are also on your sheet. At the bottom of the group, you text to the number 81010. You text your code. These are for students and parents. These are the groups that we will use to send communications about updates. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but please make sure you're signing up for that as you're sitting here, or re-enrolling in that if you are a student who forgot to do that at some point. Yes, emails, remind text, and then we'll use our Schoology class once school starts. Leadership team has already been using Schoology through their group to communicate. We'll use that throughout the summer as well. For missed performances or practices, communication must happen from the parent or guardian to the band directors at least 48 hours in advance in writing. So in writing can be an email, can be a handwritten note that gets sent with your student, or can be a text, but it has to be in writing to one of the band directors. For illnesses on the day of practice or performance, communication must happen within 24 hours of the missed event to be considered excused, so that we can track them. We're projecting around 120 in the marching band this year, so that's a lot of people and names to keep track of. We want to make sure that you're attending the things you need to be at, so that you're getting the information to be able to be at performances. Excused absences are prior notification of a school-approved absence. So a reason that you would miss school and be excused for missing academic time is the same for missing a performance or practice after school. One that we talk about a lot, we're giving you calendars now. We're going to talk about some of these events, these reoccurring dates, like practices that happen every week. It's going to be important that if you are working a part-time job, that you notify your employer of those dates, because a job is not considered an excused absence. Okay. That's all I have to say on that.
All right, let's talk about rehearsals once the school starts, or it's starting in August. So we have our regular class time, white days, first hour of the day, so make sure that you're here on time every day, but on white days, it's marching band. So make sure that you're here ready to go, and then you're gonna go straight to the band room, get your stuff, head out to the field, and be ready to work as soon as 7:40 the bell rings, okay? And then for the last several years, the flag line and the percussion have had these extra rehearsals, sectionals each week. And we've done these Thursday night rehearsals, Thursday after school rehearsals. And we've had lots of woodwind and brass players ask us, hey, can we have sectional time as well? So we're gonna add that in this year. And so the schedule for each of those you can see listed here. Brass players, Monday after school, woodwind players, Tuesday after school. So that's new. And then percussion on Monday nights, that's the same as it's been for the last several years. And Thursdays after school, which is also the same as it's been for the last several years. So, and we'll talk more details if you have questions about that when we do our little breakout group. You can let us know if you've got some questions about that. That's going to really help us level up in each individual section, working on specific things that are unique to your section. And then I think that covers it. I don't know what the flag line schedule is. Otherwise, I tell you. There you go. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, 3 to 5:30. Okay. Performance schedule. So marching band is our most, is the most public face of the music program at the high school. We're out performing at a lot of different kinds of events throughout the summer and the fall, and we have a ton of fun doing it. So we'll play in every home football game, and we'll play at several different parades, and we travel to 3 different competitions. So what I want to impress upon you now is to put each of these dates in your calendar. Put them in there today. I've already got them in my calendar so that if something comes up and you're scheduling something, schedule it with somebody, hey, let's see, does this date work? October 4th. Oh, no, I got the Central States Marching Band Festival. I can't do whatever it is on October 4th. What we really want to make sure is that when our students put in several months of hard work, we want to make sure they get the reward of having that performance experience. We've occasionally had some students who work, and then they have something where they mess up the scheduling thing, and then they have to miss a performance, and they are so disappointed when that happens because they've worked hard and they want to show what they have worked with their friends to create on the field. So please make sure that you put those on your calendar and protect those dates for the next 6 months. I'm going to make sure that nothing gets in the way of those key events, especially the 3 competitions. We only have 3. And that's, you can see here, September 8th, that's at the State Fair. We will march a parade and be adjudicated and given a rating for the parade performance. Then we'll go into an arena and we'll stand in an arc and we'll play some of our songs, and we'll be adjudicated and given a rating on that as well. And then we'll have a fun day to play at the State Fair. You'll see the animals and eat all the yummy food and all that stuff. Ride the rides. Well, the kids will do that. I want to try all the food while the kids are going on rides and getting dizzy. And then we have the 2 competitions, one at Washburn University, one at K-State University, where we'll play our full sequence with all the drill and the choreography, music and everything. And those are really big events that are really fun, and some of the most memorable experiences that our students ever had in their time of high school is connected to those big events. So please make sure that those are protected dates, and if parents, if you can be there, try to be there, because it's a lot of fun and a great way to celebrate what our students have achieved. All right, next. Just a little bit about making sure that you're there on time for the events that we have. Call time generally 30 minutes before a bus leaves. Football games, call time is generally 5:15, and then we'll open the banner beforehand. We do encourage students after on Friday game days, they'll need to go home, freshen up, get some food, drink, rest, whatever they need, and then come back for the game. So, we want students hanging out here the entire afternoon, because sometimes we have things that we need to do, and we can't necessarily stay here for that whole time. And then this is important that you all know that you're keeping track of when your child is done with one of our events. There have been some times where we've waited over an hour for a student to be picked up after an event, and that's not fair to us or to your kid who feels really guilty. And so the way to prevent that from happening is, first of all, be aware of what the general anticipated ending time will be, which we'll send out through texts and emails. So read those, please. But then also, like on game day, we don't know what time the game is going to end exactly. Is it going to go into overtime? Is it going to be a shorter game, a longer game? We don't know the exact time. So during the 4th quarter, we're going to use our group text, and we'll send you updates. All right, probably 15 minutes till students are ready for pickup, something like that. So just make sure that you're tracking those, and if you can't be the one to pick up your kid, please make sure that somebody else is planning to do that, so they're not hanging out here waiting. The administrators have told us this is the new procedure we're supposed to follow. If a student doesn't have a ride home, we are supposed to, after 30 minutes, call the police and say, so-and-so does not have a ride, And then we are to escort them to the front of the school where there are cameras, so they can be visible if anything were to happen, which we don't think there would, but we'll take them to the front of the school where they're under the cameras, and then they'll wait there for the police officer to come get them. So let's just avoid any of that, okay? None of us want to deal with that, but that's what they told us we have to do. It's more than half an hour after event. So check your texts, check your emails, keep in contact with your kid, and we won't have that problem.
In order for students to participate in marching band, they have to meet some general eligibility requirements. And these are set forth by KSHA and set forth by the school district here. So you have to be academically eligible, and what that means is there's two pieces to that. The first is the KSHA eligibility. This current semester, spring 2025, you have to pass 5 of your 8 classes. Passing is a D or higher in KSHA's eligibility. So you have to pass 5. You also have to have, for USD 475, a 2.0 GPA for the spring 2025 classes. And that does include your advisory class. That does hurt or help your GPA. We will get an eligibility list usually mid-June to late June, after grades have been finalized and then they run all those things. If your student doesn't meet those 2 criteria, they will not be able to participate in marching band. There are other band courses that they will be moved into where they can participate if they are ineligible, but those 2 requirements are set by KSHA and the school district to participate. Partly because, and we've talked about this a little bit already, marching band is a very busy activity. We have a ton of events before and after school, and if this semester where maybe you didn't have as much, you're not keeping up with grades, we can't expect you to also keep up with grades and do all of the after school events for marching band. So it's important that you have that. The eligibility letters are sent by the school district to you. We have nothing to do with that. When they run grades, they will send reports home that say a student is ineligible for that coming fall semester. That includes 8th graders. Your 8th grade grades this semester determine whether you're allowed to do that next semester. So please make sure you're keeping up on those things so that you're eligible to participate if you choose to.
If you're not eligible right now, you got 4 days. Work to fix it, because we want you in marching band.
Yes, absolutely. Cool. Do you want to talk about this a little bit, or you want me to do it?
So parent volunteer donations, this is something that we are really needing help. We had several parents there a few years back that really did a lot for us, and they have graduated, their students have graduated, and so we're kind of lacking in that now, and we had a big group graduate this year with parents, so we're going to kind of recruit you to start helping us out. So for parade camp, well, let's talk about the food first. For parade camp, I'm needing 10 cases of water donated and about 20 boxes of popsicles. We use the popsicles for fun time outside, and we also use popsicles for the end of the 4th of July parade. When they end the parade, we have coolers full of them, and they get to dehydrate themselves with them. They really enjoy them. Then for camp, when we actually have camp, we will feed them meals. One day we have pizza, one day we have hamburgers, one day we have hot dogs, one day we sometimes, I am bringing the pulled pork back for one day. So we supply the meat for that. We have funds to do the meat, but we don't have the funds to do everything else. So usually they go through, they get 1 or 2 sandwiches, whatever they want. And then if I need help in getting the individual bags of little chips and cookies and 20 pieces of water. The reason I need so many cookies is also when we come in from outside, we let them have a snack. And we let them go to the cookie table and get, 3 or 4 cookies to kind of get the sugar in them and bring it up. Then also at lunch, we let them have cookies, chips, water, and their sandwiches. So it takes a lot to get that going. When I run low, which it always happens that I start to run low, you will get emails. And usually it's kind of desperate email that I send out. I'm really desperate because I'm needing. So when you get a desperate one, I am desperate for stuff to come. We also use these items when we go to K-State, Washburn, and stuff like that, because we have to take sack lunches or something like that. But then again, we supply the meat for the sandwiches and things like that. But then we also give them chips, cookies, water, and stuff to make those sack meals. So that is a big help for us there. Then for your personal self, for parade camp each day, if I could use like 4 people to come in and help me, and I will find things for you to do. I can always find things to do. So there's sizing, there's forms, there's just things that t-shirts, stuff that you can help prep. And I just show you, I give you everything and show you what I need done, and then you kind of help me out. On band camp, it's the same way. I get a lot of the uniforms ready and have them sized, and then I ask that you pull the kids out of their sectionals and try the uniforms on them. And if it doesn't work, tell me if it's too small, too big, and then I go back in and try to adjust to see what other what I can find for them. And the next day they try on another uniform. And then you can also help with lunch, like setting up lunch, or even when we're coming in from outside from working, you can have the cookies already set up for them to get us the cookie snack. But then lunch, you can have lunch ready to help serve. And it's just, then on game day, that's when I really need help, okay? It is me, but it really is me. Because as a secretary, I have all this to do, but I'm also the color guard coach. So I kind of feel like Stretch Armstrong sometimes. But during the games from like 5 to 6, I need 2 people that are willing to, you can do it 2 different ways. We give the kids a sack dinner at halftime. So they go home after school, we expect them to eat and come back. But by the time they're done doing all the pregame stuff and playing sand tunes, going out on the field and performing and coming back, they are starving. They cannot go to the concession stands. They have to stay in the stands. So we supply a meal as they come off the field that consists of a nice big sausage, hot dog, chips, water, cookies, same thing. And it's in a sack. They grab it, they go sit down in the stands and they eat. So I need somebody that can grill those hot dogs for the 4 games. And there's 2 ways you can do it. You can either pick them up for me, go home and grill them on your grill, and I give you a roaster, you put it in the roaster, and you bring it back to me. Oh, you have to put them in the bun and wrap them in foil too. Or you can come to the school and we have the parents group that bought us a nice charcoal grill, and we've got one, not charcoal, I'm sorry, gas grill, and it's in the back. You can come, light it up, cook them really good, and then somebody can help you put them in the buns, roll them in foil, and put them in the roaster to keep warm. That's a big thing I need help with. And then we need people to help us get stuff to the field. Like we have jugs of ice water that go out. We have coolers that go out with the water in it for real hot games. So they have something to drink when they come off the field. We take tables out to serve the dinner from. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into preparing for a game. And the parents seem to have a lot of fun when I'm watching them do things. So it's pretty good. We got a new parent group that'll probably be contacting you, and she's talking about that later. But this is a big thing that we really need the most help with when it comes to bringing. And when you want to bring donations, you can just send them with your students to camp. So like parade camp, when they start coming on the first day, send stuff with them. When you drop them off, they'll bring it in, they bring it to me and I've got a room that I store it all in. And then as we get close to band camp, they can just bring it with them and we'll have it and, we can do that, you know. So I appreciate everything you do to help my life be a little bit easier.
We realize with all of the performances, it takes a ton of adults to move a ton of students. So any and all time you can volunteer for us or help us get supplies is very helpful. We get some budget during the school year, which is why we don't need as much, but the summer camps and stuff is not budgeted. So we have to provide all of that separately. So we want to make sure that we're giving our students enough energy, enough fuel, enough attention so that they can do all the things that they need to do. At this time, we're going to break into 3 smaller groups. We'll be able to answer your questions, kind of go over supplies list, and anything else. Oh, yeah, we can talk about that. Oh, you got it. Each student, so you have to buy the black shorts. Each student is provided from the school. You will get a blue band t-shirt. These t-shirts do not leave the building. You will come to an event, let's say it's a football game. You will come to the event wearing your street clothes, come in, we'll check out your t-shirt, go change, wear that for the event, and then change afterwards before you go home. These t-shirts, and the students have heard this a lot, especially this week. These t-shirts have a white label in them that are pinned in them with the student's name. So we will wash and maintain them here and check them in after each performance with the student's name in it. It has to be in there so that we can verify that that's their t-shirt. We have certain materials so that it doesn't rub under our uniform. Like even when we're in full uniform and our nice big marching band uniform, we'll wear these t-shirts underneath, as well as the stylish hat that Ms. Ritchie is donning now. All of these things will be checked out, and this is part of that equipment agreement that you'll sign at parade camp, includes the uniforms. Okay, if you break or damage in any way those uniforms, it's all covered under that. So it's really important that the students are returning the materials they need to return before they leave. I think in order to replace a uniform, because it's one uniform that we'd be replacing, not a fleet, they're usually between $700 to $800 for one uniform because they have to be custom made by the company. So it's very, very important that you're taking care of these things so that we can maintain our equipment. Now, we're going to move into 3 different groups. If you are a color guard member, you are going to go with Ms. Ritchie out into the cafeteria. She's going to go over some color guard specific things with you. If you are a percussionist, you are going to go with Mr. Morris, and you are going to move into the commons area right outside the auditorium. If you are a woodwind or a brass player, you're going to stay in here with me and we'll go over your requirements.